Good morning. It is a beautiful rainy day here, and I've been loving this because I like the sound of rain, and I don't know, it's just really pretty out. I don't know if you can see where I live, it's just really super peaceful. So hopefully I'm showing this to you accurately. But yeah, I was in meditation this morning, and what came to me super duper amazingly strong was, and I know this, and I know lots of people know this, that our thoughts are a direct correlation of what we experience in our lives, right? Wait for the bus to go by, for the UPS bus. Um, and I know as adults we know this, but do we know this, that it's the same for the kids? Do we realize that? Do we recognize it? Do we pay attention to that? I mean, hi Jackie. Sometimes I think we do. I feel though that as parents and adults that are running around, teachers, businessmen, businesswomen. I mean, we're just busy. Life takes us over, but we create that. So isn't this interesting, right? And then our kids go to school, or we homeschool them, or they go to preschool, or they go to the babysitter, and then they experience beautiful things, and then they also experience things that are not beautiful, and they create that too. So I guess my point here is that we love our children, right? As parents, we love our children. We want them to experience the most joyful, prosperous, amazing, beautiful life experience that they can. And as teachers, we want exactly the same thing for our students: the most joyful experience, the most prosperous life, the most engaging and fulfilling experience in our classrooms and out in the world. So it's funny how teachers and parents aren't really that different, but some parents are both. They're teachers too. And really, I know the saying goes, parents are children's first teachers, right? But I like to say that children are our first teachers. That's what I like to say. Because I learned a lot. I mean, I thought I knew stuff. I thought I knew a lot. But then my daughter came along, and there was a lot more I didn't know. And I'm still learning. So, yeah. But my point is that we love the children, right, that we have in our lives. And we, no matter whether they're 2 years old or 42 years old, we love them. And we want them to experience a life filled with everything that they desire and the experience that they can enjoy. Because life is about joy. Life is about being happy. Life is about experiencing the things that help us grow. And we don't have to be attached to the pain. We don't have to be attached to the joy. But wouldn't it be amazing if we could guide our children and model for our children how we could monitor our thoughts, because they have a direct, and a correct correlation to our life, to what we experience in every single moment. So, I don't know about you, but as a kid, I had no idea. I was just being. I was just being in my life, going about my life, and I have memories that were amazing and powerful and wonderful, and I have memories that were the exact opposite. And I grew up in a time when it wasn't as knowledgeable now as it is, that we actually, scientifically it's proven that we create what we experience through what we think, feel, and believe, right? So, my parents were thinkers. I mean, they had a lot of beliefs, and that comes from thinking and thoughts, but they were feelers too, but I was the feeler of the family. So it was very confusing for me, for my parents to say, sit and think about that, because I didn't know what they wanted me to do. Or a teacher to tell me, to read this question and think about that, because I didn't think about things. I felt about things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, when I would be outside riding my bike, I wasn't thinking about where my friends were. I wasn't thinking about how much fun it was. I was feeling good. I was feeling fun. I was feeling joyful. Or if I experienced something at school, which um, created a situation of confusion or sadness, like if I didn't know the answer to something, I would feel anxiety. I would feel confusion and worry. I didn't have any. If I had thoughts, I didn't know what they were because I wasn't thinking, what can I do? How can I fix this? I wasn't doing that. I was, it was automatic feel mode. And I would go home and express this to my parents, and they didn't really know what to do at first. Here I was, 6 years old, 7 years old, telling this. And my mom would say, oh, you're too sensitive. And I'm not judging my mom at all. She just presented herself to the world very differently than I do, and I did. And I would, of course, feel like there was something wrong with me. What do you mean I'm too sensitive? I'm broken. I shouldn't be sensitive. And then I would go to my dad, and my dad would say, you have a lot of common sense. And I would say, okay, I don't know what that is. There was just this back and forth of confusion. So then I would try talking to a teacher, and there weren't very many teachers that I connected with. Very few, maybe 3, out of all those years of school. 3. So, but I did talk to my 3rd grade teacher and my 4th grade teacher a little bit. I didn't really know what to say except that I was feeling the way I was feeling. And my 3rd grade teacher, I don't even know how or why, but she knew to listen, not talk, to just listen. And so when she listened, I felt heard. And she said, being sensitive means that you care. This is many years ago. Okay, sensitive means a lot of things now that we weren't aware of. But she said, sensitive means that you care. And she said, would you like to work in the library and, help them take care of the library? Would you like to help in the kindergarten classroom and work with the children in there? And I was elated. Yes. I hugged her. I didn't even answer her. I just hugged her. So I guess what I'm saying, your children may not be thinkers. They might be feelers. They might be both. They might not be any of that. But my parents did the best they could to model for me. And in that area, that was a little bleak and confusing, and I just didn't get it. It was foggy. But in other areas, my parents were amazing people who modeled for me very well. So this teacher modeled for me listening. My parents wanted to listen, but there were 3 kids. They were busy, and there were times they did listen. But this perfect situation showed me that there are teachers who listen. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, I know how your kids feel, and maybe you as a parent, and maybe you as a teacher, or maybe you as someone who lives or works with kids was one of those kids that was like me. So you can relate, right, to your kids or to the students in your class. Model, I guess what I'm saying, model watching your thoughts. Like, here's an example that I did in the classroom, because our kids are doing this too. They're having experiences in their lives there's a direct correlation to what they're thinking about and what they're feeling about, because our feelings create our life too. And when I was feeling anxiety, I created more experiences for anxiety, and yes, I did, in school especially. So we want our kids to know that they create this movie that they're living. They really do. We do too. They really do. They have a way of being able to direct every moment of their lives. And I know I've been saying, meditation and mindfulness helps us. Yeah, so I'm going to give you a perfect example of that. Maybe you could try this. So in my classroom and at home when my daughter was younger, now I don't use the chime, but I'll give an example of that too. I would use the chime, and I would ding the chime throughout the day to take mindful moments. And we would just take a moment for 10 seconds bring the energy back down, because we would have high energy in the classroom, and then we would, high time, low time, so that we would have, and I didn't call it that, I called it up time, down time, so that our nervous system could be in a natural rhythm, flow of what it really needs, instead of always being up or always being down. Kids need both, and so do adults, really. So I would ding the chime throughout the day to take some mindful moments if it was too much up, and kind of bring us back down to focus, so that we can get working on what we were working on, or complete what we were doing, or continue to communicate effectively, like whatever was happening in those moments. We just would do it if it was needed, kind of like 3 or 4 times a day, just depending, sometimes more, depending. But here's an example. So in the classroom, if I was working with a small group and other children were working on their lessons, and the classroom would get way too loud, because that happens, and I couldn't hear, and children were losing focus, and I would ding the chime, and we would take a mindful moment for a few seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and we would just take a breath and just be, and allow ourselves, with our eyes closed or looking down at the ground, just allow ourselves to be in that silent moment for a few 20 seconds, maybe 30, just depending. And then we would move on, just all on our own. We would just move on doing what we were doing, but it would bring the energy back down. If I had a thought that was right, I would mention to them, I would say, I was thinking a thought, and the thought was, oh my gosh, the classroom is just way too loud, I can't handle it. And then I would have a feeling of, and I would tell them this, and then I started feeling anxious or frustrated. And I said, so I'm going to change my thought to, the classroom is calm and peaceful, we're all working well together, and I feel peaceful, I feel calm, I feel ready to continue, I feel calm. At the moment, it would feel right what I would need to say. And they wouldn't say anything. I mean, sometimes they said things here and there, but what I was doing was, and I didn't do this purposely, I didn't plan it out, but what I was doing was, I was showing them. So they were seeing it, they were hearing it, they were doing it and experiencing. So I was showing them, I was giving them the tools, right? We would talk about this ahead of time anyway in our class meetings, but I was actually doing the experience so that they would, the strategy, so that they would be able to take this into their life. And whether they did it all the time or not, the seed was planted. But I'm telling you they did. I mean, on the playground, I would see children sometimes. If there was a situation with friends, I would see them walk away from their friends, sit down and take a minute. I don't know if they were changing their thoughts. I just saw what they were doing. I didn't talk to them about it. I let them be independent. But if they wanted to talk to me about it, then we did. And in class meetings, we would talk about changing our thoughts and why that's important. And really, if you're authentic and true, they feel that and they know it, and they will meet you there. And so that's an example in a classroom or in a program where you're working with kids. You can do this with any age, kid, any age. But at home, here's an example for that. Driving in the car. So when I'm driving in my car and there's a lot of traffic and it's really, really busy, I like quiet in the car. It just helps me stay focused and present with what I'm doing. So my daughter is 14, so she likes to turn on the radio really loud, especially after school, right? So we've had examples like this for sure. So she would turn on the radio really loud, and I'm on the highway, and I don't know if you know Asheville. It's very busy, lots of cars. So I would immediately, or I've had immediately, these thoughts of, oh my gosh, I can't drive like this, we could wreck. And that's just a horrible thought to have. So I would immediately, without doing anything first, change that thought. Well, everything's good, I got this, I can drive like this, I've been driving forever, I know how to drive. I'm totally safe, it's all good, I feel so much better, I feel safe. And then I would turn off the radio. And I would kindly say to her, right now, I really need things to be calm so that I can drive peacefully and carefully. So, you know, if you want to listen to the music with earbuds, it's great. If you want to be in the quiet moment with me, that'll be helpful. But the thought I was having was, oh my God, I can't drive like this. And I got scared. I felt really scared. I said, and so I changed my thought. I'm telling her all of this. I changed my thought to, I've got this. I can handle it. I've been driving forever. I feel safe. I feel calm. And I'm telling her this because, again, I'm giving her the tools. I'm showing her how and why it's important to do this. And so often she would just kind of decide to listen with earbuds. But sometimes she would take the quiet moment with me. And it's just amazing how life just kind of flows in these directions for us in order to give our children these opportunities to grow. And so, yeah, try that. Try those tips. I mean, they worked for me, and they work for friends that I share them with. And you know, maybe here's the beauty of this. When you hear these tips, right? You can. My goal really is for people to take these tips and kind of mold them into using them the way that suits them, because everyone's unique and different, and every experience is unique and different, and every child is unique and different. So you know your kid, you know what words you need to use, you know what, you know, you can use a chime or you can use a music box. I mean, you know your students, you know what works best for them and what works best for you. But these are just kind of like baselines, kind of tips for you to try and feel your way through too. Try it out. Because honestly, really, we've been hearing this for years. Just listen to Tony Robbins. Everybody knows Tony Robbins, right? Mr. Rogers. Listen to Mr. Rogers. What we think and feel creates what we experience. You know, this isn't a woo-woo thing. This is scientifically proven. It is absolutely true. Yeah. And so that came through my meditation clearly, loud and clear. I heard it like like there was nothing else going on. I heard that so loud that I needed to share that today. And I'm glad that I did. I'm so grateful to be able to do this, and I'm so grateful that Jackie is here listening, and just grateful to have the time and the opportunity to work with people and support people in this way. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful, rainy, gorgeous day with the birds singing. It's so amazing, isn't it? God, I love this stuff. I love you all. Enjoy your day.